We'll be back in about 10 minutes with some more English coverage.
挑战者们，大家下午好，欢迎来到广州亚运城现场的朋友，让我再次感受到你们的热情。谢谢大家的再次光临。那么这里呢是由暴雪娱乐和网易 CC 直播联合主办的中国区守望先锋挑战者系列赛第2赛季半决赛的比赛现场，我是主持人一希，很高兴再次见到大家，再次感谢各位的光临。那么在这里我们要首先感谢到的是守望先锋挑战者系列赛全球官方 PC 合作伙伴惠普对本赛事的大力支持。接下来说回到比赛，我们要进行的是半决赛的第1场较量，是由 LGD 战队对阵 Flag 战队。那么其实 LGD 战队是一支老牌强队了，他们的每一次出场都非常令人期待。他们今天的表现究竟如何？让我们一起有请 LGD 战队。有请 LGD。是的，我们今天 LGD 的选手们都已经是蓄势待发了。今天的对手 Flag 战队同样是一颗冉冉升起的新星，那么他们今天的状态究竟如何？让我们一起有请 Flag 战队。欢迎 Flag 战队登台。是的，今天的2支战队都已经是蓄势待发，战意满满了。那么他们将会在今天争夺出今天的第1张决赛门票。我们现场的观众再次把掌声送给2支队伍。是的，谢谢大家，谢谢大家。那么现在的半决赛一触即发，那么接下来我们把画面交给3位解说。
Everybody, welcome to Overwatch Contenders China Semifinals. LGD Gaming versus Flag Gaming. This is going to be huge. I'm already talking smack. in chat about this, so I better be right. I'm joined on the desk today by none other than Scribe and Panda. Hey guys, good morning. It's technically morning now. Good to have you, Panda. You're looking fresh as always. And you're muted too.
It's better to get it up out of the way. It's fresh
the
on the
jitters,
mute
I
plug,
get it.
just as fresh as I am with my red tie. You know I had to do it, man. You know I had to get it at least once. Out of the way.
There you go. Yeah, right out of the way. On the other side, the reverse oracle of Overwatch contenders is Scribe. Dude, are you going to get some predictions correct today? That's the real question.
It's almost better if I get them wrong at this point, so I might as well start continuing the legacy, right?
Fair enough. Chat, if you are placing friendly bets with like Cheez-Its with your friends, whatever Scribe says, bet on the opposite. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be so loaded up on your favorite snack food of choice. Okay, that's bad. Let's talk about this match here. This is the penultimate match in our single elimination playoff bracket. We are playing on patch 1.26, which means Hammond is in. Hit scan damage fall off is buffed. Sombra is OP. Just kidding. Not that OP, but we're seeing a lot of Sombra here in China. And if the quarterfinals were anything to go off of, this is going to be kind of insane. We've seen a lot of upsets. We've seen a lot of really interesting compositions, hero choices this far. So let's start by talking about the teams, though. Scribe, what do people need to know about LGD Gaming and how they got here?
Well, LGD Gaming got here by beating Lingon Esports in the quarterfinals, and obviously Lingon is one of the strongest teams in China, so this actually would have been considered an upset. But of course, LGD just simply demonstrated better Sombra usage. We're going to look at a lot about their main DPS dealers, Eileen and Shai. Both of them extremely strong players, extremely carry-based players, and extremely strong with momentum. But really just comes down to how big their team is able to do. Obviously, we have the really strong tanks, Guxue and Yaoxie. This basically means that we're going to see probably the strongest tanks from China themselves competing against a really strong team also, Flag Gaming.
So, Panda, what about on the other side? Flag Gaming, big upset in the quarterfinals against Moss 7 Club, taking down a #1 seed here. What do people need to know about Flag Gaming and how they got here in the Contenders China semifinals?
Most would say upset, but I would say that it got a little bit more of a boost with their new main tank of Over. Since Over came into the squad of Flag Gaming, really enabled the rest of the squadron along with them. And we've seen Land Boss, DMO, and even Jason as well continue to pop off, if you will. Coldus even was able to flex over to that Tracer as well, all around the controlled aggression of Over's main tank abilities. Flag Gaming also flexing over to this new GOATS composition as well has been looking very strong coming forward. And up against Moss 7 Club, again, I wouldn't necessarily say it was an upset. On paper, it definitely was, but I would stand by and say even though they came fourth in their groups, probably would have taken first in Group B had they been placed over there.
Wow, I mean, they finished Group B, if I remember correctly, at 10-10 map record, didn't they?
They finished Group A and with a 10-10. Yeah, 2-3 series
so
record. Yep,
500, 2-3. You think that they could have been the best in the other group?
I definitely would. I would definitely stand by in saying that fact as well. If there's a whole bunch of other ifs and play-ons on the inside of it, but the way that they were playing it against and their schedule was laid out as well, they had a lot of hard matchups, but they really held their own against them.
So, Scribe, what's your take on this match here? This is going to be an interesting one. We're seeing two teams that you might not have expected to be in the semifinals. They had tough matches in the quarterfinals, to say the least. What's your take on this match? I mean, one of these teams is going to have to go up against T1W or LFZ, the winner of that match.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one of the most exciting matchups we could have gotten. Obviously, Moss 7 Club, sneaking into that 1 seed situation, as Panda said, not exactly the 1 seed we would have expected. But at the same time, Flag Gaming did show that they were here to play a very, very close 5-game series in total. Even went to all 3 maps on Ilios as well. So Flag Gaming is one of those teams that I think that as he added new parts, basically effectively upgraded the roster. They're coming into this playoffs, I think, almost untested in some sort of way. So definitely I'm very excited to see how they play. But LGD, though, this is a storied roster. We've seen exactly how strong this team is. A lot of known factors here. So I'm very excited to see how the firepower of LGD, how their aggression and how they're willing to play together and dive together, how that really impacts against Flag's more conservative play.
So one of the key storylines that I'm going to remember from Overwatch Contenders Season 2 here in China, we've been doing South America, and of course we're following all the other regions. But China is really interesting in the fact, Panda, that we see a lot of these matchups kind of hinge on the DPS matchup and the tank matchup. And particularly in this one, it's definitely a DPS showdown. Sombra should be a big deal. What should we be looking forward to in this DPS matchup between these two teams?
I think that's a very good point to bring up, KT. I mean, with LGD's previous win over Lijiang, it was specifically that. Who could play Sombra at a finer moment of time? They pushed even Lijiang Esports' finer DPS of Undead to try it out himself, and that's where LGE started seeing a little bit more footing. But LGD seems to understand where this post-patch lies in the Sombra playstyle. And if Flag Gaming needs to be careful of anything, it's just that we didn't see a ton of Sombra coming out of them. So if anybody's going to flex over to it, I would probably expect it to be Jason. That man's hero pool is very deep, and he could definitely flex over to it if need be. I bet you DMO could do it as well. But if they continue on that triple DPS matchup as well with they could end up doing the Sombra Tracer, their flex support, if you will, of Coldest can end up picking up the Tracer, and it could be very devastating for LGD to deal with as well. I think it's definitely going to be a flashy DPS matchup over here, though we do have the main tank for Chinese World Cup team playing on the field today as well.
So what about, so you guys know me, every time I love to make you act fools up here. I love to make you pick a team, stand behind them, pick a winner. And I want to do that right now. Scribe, I'm going to make you go first. I'm giving you don't have to go up against anyone. You can choose any team you want. I just want to see you win, man. Who's walking away with the victory today?
And my brain says LGD, but my heart says Flag Gaming here. I mean, this is kind of Flag Gaming is this pick I'm going to go for just because I want to talk a little bit more about this team that has been so new into the scene relatively. I mean, the team itself has been here for quite a long time, but in terms of adding new players, we have seen Over being added to the lineup pretty frequently there, and as well as Jason. And honestly, these are two players who have effectively completely changed the roster. They've added a very aggressive element here. Lai, who is a diva player for the side of Flag Gaming, has been quite standout, but we've always been trying to see if he had that tank partner available to him. Melons just did not seem like the perfect fit for him, but Over allowing the team to create a lot more room, plays significantly more aggressive, and that just means people like Jason, people like Demo are going to have a lot more room to execute. I really like the way that Flag Gaming is coming in here. I think that they can continue to play goats and continue to stack tanks. That's going to be very easy for execution, especially being on land. So Flag Gaming here is going to get my slight edge here.
All right. So are you saying like 3-2-5 or like 3-1-4?
I always say I think 3-2. I think it's gonna be pretty close. I think that land nerves are gonna obviously get to both teams, but I think at the end of the day, Flag Gaming, if you're playing the easy composition, you're just gonna be able to execute.
You stole my prediction, by the way. I said it in chat in there. So I see your strategy. Kick Tripod's never wrong. You know, let's just steal his. I get it. Fair enough. Panda, what about you, man? Who's walking away here?
I'm going to play a little bit more devil's advocate here. Although, again, my heart does say Flag Gaming. I got to go. You know me with my stats, man. I got to go with LGD Gaming on this one. Their Sombra play has been very, very good. I mean, watching it in the previous weeks and matchups were fantastic. But we were talking about the DPS matchup. I'm going to go end up and throw it that much further to a tank matchup as well. Jushi is going to change the way he wins this 3-2 matchup.
Fair enough. Well, there you have it. We are in the lobby for map number 1. It looks like it's going to be Lijiang Tower here. This is interesting. Both teams have never picked this one before. They both have a 33% win rate on this one. We're about to see what's going to happen. We're going into the match right now with your casters, one amongst many, and Ryan Central. Take it away, guys.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully you're ready for some fine Chinese Overwatch action. And well, very, very fittingly, we're going to be getting started here on Lijiang Tower. I, of course, am Josh, one amongst many Pampton, joined by my beautiful co-caster, Ryan Central. And yeah, it's going to be one hell of a series, Ryan. Like, I definitely really want to see a lot of Sombra today. I'm hoping to see minimal goats, but I really want to see a lot of Sombra.
So the reaction for both of these teams, they played their quarterfinals a week after the Hammond patch went live. It was very interesting stuff. LGD Gaming approached it as more of a, we'll try out some stuff, some Sombra, we'll try out some different strategies that like NA Contenders were using. Flag Gaming just dedicated to the free GOATS comp. So the Brigitte with triple support and the triple tanks with Azaria along with Reinhardt and D.Va. So two very different strategies. They've had a couple of weeks to sort of work out what they want to play. And straight away, Flag Gaming have locked in the GOATS comp. So that's kind of what they're going to be going with. If LGD can shut this down, that's where they're going to be going to the finals. Flag Gaming, though, this composition has been working well for them. And Lijiang Tower isn't a bad map for it.
Yeah, and they're also, it looks like they might actually be running a variant of GOATS themselves. I mean, this is a really, really good GOATS map, especially like Night Market. This is where you want it, but they're running that Ana instead of that Moira. That's going to give them perhaps a little bit of extra power here. It depends if they can get that grenade in. It seems like, if you can get that early anti-heal grenade in, that's going to give you a huge advantage. So both teams just going to be jockeying for position fairly early at the moment, just inching closer to one another. It looks like a lot of damage, though, as Over just goes in for a huge charge, goes right into the back line, does get stunned up for it, though, does go down nice and quickly. And it looks like LGD Gaming might just be wrapping this fight up early.
Yeah, DMO was the first to go down in that fight, was really strong in the Brigitte in the quarterfinal that they had against Moss 7, trying to pick off targets to stun to make sure that they went down, but maybe overextended a little bit, got taken out. LGD just took their time there.
Yeah, it looks like Coldest is going to be almost ready with that crucial coalescence. That's going to be vital in letting these guys push back for the retake. So I imagine they're going to be going to that. But Gushu just not giving them the time. The Chinese World Cup tank rampaging forward. He's looking for something with this one. And actually, Xion almost has that Graviton Surge as well. He's almost ready to go with it. He's looking for it. But no, a beautiful Ash Shadow does come out from Over. And it looks like it is all over for LGD Gaming as Flag Gaming just storm right back on the point and momentum swings right back into their favor.
The coalescence was the thing that kept them alive. Both teams were running fairly similar compositions. The big difference is Secret is on the Ana, very close to a nano boost, while working his way up to one. Coldest got the coalescence onto Moira fairly quickly because you have all of these tanks to heal up, of course. And with the Earth Shatter that overused, it set them up quite nicely. It's all about making Gushui's life hell on this Reinhardt for LGD, but they're pushing it aggressively as they have the grab.
Yeah, there goes the Graviton Surge, and can they find the combo damage with it? It looks like they've done it. The bigger bang comes out. Yaoshi scoops up a couple of kills for himself there and will just take the point right back for themselves, only using a couple of ults to get that one done as well.
I mean, that's all they really needed to use. They used Rally, so a lot of them have the armor ready. Looking at Shai, for example, of Desire, you can see he's got that beneath his shield health, so they're looking really comfortable for this next fight, especially with Jason having that Graviton. It's going to be a big ultimate, but other than that, they have the D.Va Bomb, and that seems to be it, really. That's the problem with GOATS comp. You don't have those aggressive ultimates other than grab.
And especially with the Graviton Surge sort of being changed slightly as well, a little bit reduced in its radius. We did see Earth Shadow come out there, but it did get caught up. Now the Coalescence comes forward. They're going to start running forward. Oh, it got eaten! So the Graviton Surge just comes into nothing at the moment. Now Sound Barrier being used. LGD on the counter-attack. They want to get a couple of kills off the back of this one, and they're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. Over ends up dropping down. Lai gets D-Mech. They're scooping up the kills, and LGD continue to hold the point.
That was the big impact play. LGD Gaming used the Sound Barrier to keep themselves alive, just in case, as a precaution, really, but now they still control the point. Flag Gaming building these ultimates fairly slowly. Coldest has actually switched over to the Ana for more aggressive options with the nano boost. So they do still have the opportunity with an Earth Shatter coming through. LGD Gaming used one in that last fight, but have another that shows how aggressive they're being on this push. They're making sure that they can't fight on the point, and Flag Gaming.
And with 15% left, this could be the final fight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just see how it goes. They're just weighing it out. There's a beautiful Graviton Surge, though. Catches absolutely everybody. Killfeed just lights up with green. And LGD Gaming in a really good spot now. 5% left in it. Can anyone even get to the point? Lai's trying his darndest. D.Va with the new shot, of course, daring as ever, but just going to get taken out straight away. And LGD Gaming with a good early start.
That was the big play. That Graviton, being eaten was the thing that swung this fight, because the location of these ultimates make it fairly straightforward. So, the enemy team used Graviton. Okay, we've got it in our next fight. We'll use that and teamwork them. It seems to be very clear-cut with how these fights go. So when you have a big ultimate like a Graviton shut down in whatever capacity, either by an ultimate keeping people alive, or it was just flat-out eaten or deflected, that changes the whole swing of the momentum, and it just basically confirmed the map for LGD. Now that we're on the control center, this is where GOATS comp and the free composition likes to thrive. It'll be interesting to see if any of these teams change up their lineup.
Yeah, there are some like things creeping through the meta that could start to counter it. Like you can try and run a couple of novel things, like May, for example, might even be popping out here and there to actually cause some problems. You can isolate the Reinhardt, isolate a tank, and sort of blow some up nice and quickly. But both teams sticking it relatively simple so far. A variant on that 3-3 with the Ana, looking for a nice early grenade for a nice early advantage. Again, Over goes in for a very risky charge. The LGD just turn around, collapse on him. They're trying to get rid of him, but the D.Va defense matrix does keep him alive. Supports are there to pick him back up. Charge does connect though, right back onto him, and Over drops down nice and early, and LGD Gaming again with the early momentum.
They're putting so much momentum onto it. Earthshatter actually comes out early just to confirm and finish everything off. Really shows that they want to be holding in this area, and they're getting their ultimate so quickly. They're just making the Reinhardt's fight, Over's fight, so difficult with Brigitta's stuns, with the charges on him. It means the Flag Gaming need to dedicate a lot of resources to healing him. But saying that should mean that they get their healing ultimates and support ultimates fairly quickly.
So there is every cloud has a silver lining, ladies and gents, as Over starts to push his way forward again, but no, just gets stunned up straight away. He's lucky to still actually be alive, but there's the grapple surge coming in as well. The cleanup just comes through, only using that one ultimate to get it done as well. Must feel pretty good for these guys. LGD continue to hold the choke and continue to hold the door.
This strategy seems to be working out fairly well. They do have Rally, they're going to use it whenever they need that extra healing and a little bit of armor. And Yaoshi has the D.Va bomb, which means that if he gets demeched, you can just make sure that you can get back in it straight away, as it tends to be used a lot in the highest tiers, not so much for big Poco bombs, especially on maps like this.
And we got a new sighting with us. Hammond has rolled out onto the point, live with the swap up. Gonna be trying out the little hamster, the wrecking ball, making his presence known on the point. There goes the nano boost as well into the Reinhardt, but the fight's mostly been scored out so far as that D.Va bomb just buys everybody a little time. And Wrecking Ball, he's doing his special. He's just spinning around on the point, causing a couple of problems, but this isn't really converting into kills as Kyushu scoops up even more, though. Grapple Surge might keep them in this fight, but you can see Shai just doing so much damage on that Zarya. She's really the engine of this composition, and she's definitely thriving at the moment. Shai going on full cylinders.
And has the Graviton to boot too, 65% on the point, which means that there's only a couple of fights left for LGD to win out. So this switch for Flag Gaming is interesting. I don't think that Hammond is a bad pick here by any stretch, but it feels like because this is Flag Gaming's composition, this is what they played so much against Moss 7, this feels that they're like kind of moving on to plan B already, and LGD Gaming are taking the fight to them. Rally does get used early as a preemptive, and Lai's coming in with a Hammond.
Oh, and the Grapple Soto catches absolutely everybody. It's a disaster for Flag Gaming now as there's 10% left in it. Lai still alive somewhere. I think he's managed to just roll his way to freedom. There he goes. Wrecking Ball will just make his way back towards his team and perhaps regroup. He almost has that ultimate as well. The minefield can be surprisingly deadly at certain moments. He's also dividing a lot of attention. Actually, the Reinhardt a little bit out of position. Shy in a lot of trouble here. 12 hit points and just gets taken up by his own right click, gets destroyed, and that's a little bit of a danger time now as the mines do get deployed on the point, but Gushu still rampaging. Beautiful Urshadow catches 3, and this might just be enough, ladies and gentlemen, to put the kibosh on Lijiang Tower as they start to push out the enemy team. Anti-heal comes out now as well, and this looks good for LGD Gaming.
They're clearing it out. It looked like it might sort of end rather badly for them. Big ultimates used from Flag Gaming. They're still managing to stall out. DMO is now on the Doomfist to try and touch, but it will be LGD Gaming taking the first map of Lijiang Tower, kind of really taking the composition of Flag Gaming knows and loves and running with it.
Yeah, amazing start for LGD Gaming, but well, very GOATs-centric so far at the very least. I mean, both teams running, but Lijiang's a map that kind of lends itself. We didn't get to see any Sombra play there, nothing too inventive. Stuff pretty normal, pretty standard. I mean, what did you think of the Wrecking Ball there, Ryan? What did you actually think of that?
It's a strategy that I think is a good idea. If you want to, it's not really good for control center because it's so closed in. If you wanted to run on Gardens or Night Market, for example, it's a lot better because it's a little bit more open. You have a bit more room to breathe. You tend to see a lot of teams using the Hammond as a main tank instead of a Winston in like a dive comp. Simply because Winston, once he jumps in or out, the enemy team can see, oh, he's used a big movement ability, he doesn't have it. They'll just run over him. Whereas Hammond is very hypermobile, meaning that he can get in and out of fights with ease without cooldowns, really, just being able to roll around the point. So it's a strategy that does work. It wasn't just like a throw pick, as people may think, but it is kind of like a last-ditch attempt. I think Flag Gaming tried to see whatever they could try and run. But right now, they're going to go to a more open map because we will be good to hybrid next, I believe. And from there, maybe we'll see more Hammonds.
Here's hoping. All right, guys, we're going to go to a brief break, but we'll be right back with more Contenders China semifinals. LGD 1-0 up so far in the series. Let's see if Flag Gaming can bring it back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Contenders China, to the semifinals, LGD versus Flag Gaming. And it looks like our next map will be, unsurprisingly, Ryan and I's probably favorite map now, because we're local to it, Kings Row.
It's the loser decides in Contenders, so it's no surprise that we'd end up going to Kings Row. It was Flag Gaming's pick. It's a composition where if they wanted to run the composition that they've been running, the free comp, they can, but they can also have derivatives, I suppose, of having Hammond in there too, having different lineups, having different strategies. Flag Gaming have picked this map 100% of the time with a win rate of 40%, but so have LGD, exact same. So this is an open map to both teams. I feel it's who's made the most of the 2 weeks that they've had off. Of course, there were no games last week as it was a World Cup. So LGD and Flag Gaming have had a little bit of time to prepare for this a little bit more than just, oh, we're in the first week, let's run this composition everybody else is running.
Yeah, I mean, you can still absolutely run sort of the triple tank, triple support, the GOATS comp on this map, but there are variations available to you now. And also this is a map where the counters to that comp can start to thrive a little bit more as well. Pharah, of course, always going to be a bit of a highlight, just set up for a barrage, set up for a nice big AoE splash damage kill, and perhaps get something off the back of that. But there's also something else that's been creeping in, which is Doomfist, who saw some changes pretty recently to his barrier region. And that's actually enabling the Doomfist to do a lot of work against a clumped comp like GOATS. So there are answers to that composition on this map, but I'm still holding out for that Sombra, man. Like, I think the current meta, like, if you play this patch correctly and you're not playing if you want to play this patch correctly, you've got to play that Sombra. I really want to see it, and hopefully you're on the same boat, because I think she's an interesting hero, right? She forces kind of interesting strategies and interesting engages.
Yeah, I'd like to see more than one main composition being used, and I think Sombra has a way of shutting down and taking that kind of strategy apart. You mentioned Doomfist. Of course, Eileen is on LGD Gaming. He's a very well-known Doomfist player that loves to pick these different sort of lineups. And it does look already, just based off what teams are looking in defense and in spawns, that they are not just going to run this composition. Of course, this is going to change as soon as the spawn doors open on Flag Gaming's attack. But it does look like we're going to be seeing a different lineup and a different meta. Junkrat, Eileen is going to be playing Shine, the Widowmaker, something that's a bit more, something that we saw before this patch with Hammond and said sort of things are in Symmetra, those kind of areas. So LGD Gaming running something that they're used to. I feel Flag Gaming need to rectify that. Lies locked into Hammond though.
Yeah, he seems to be hovering over it. I mean, I don't see Mika and Coldest staying on these picks. I mean, Coldest might, like we've seen sort of hints of this triple DPS combo. It looks like that's what they might be going for. So mono support coming out of Flag Gaming on the offensive here, moving into LGD Gaming, a little bit of an older school defense, but they have that Sombra, crucially. DMO, the player to pick that up, Jason on the Genji at the moment. Actually, Coldest going to go onto the Ana as well, so setting up for some big plays and already just poking out the Sombra with that Diva, and actually doing a good job just harassing her away. But the dive goes in, they're starting to poke for a little bit of damage and just get bounced right back out. But already LGD Gaming feeling under the cosh a little bit, under a little bit of pressure. Now as Flag Gaming do take control of the point, just slowly ticking it up, almost got themselves 1/3 with an early kill onto Dricker as well. This is going to be kind of tough for the retake, as it looks like Flag Gaming might just roll on through straight away.
I think that pick onto Rika is the main thing that won out this fight. It does look like they're going to be able to take it. No ultimates dedicated either, but Eileen's death actually gets Mika taken out with this passive, so there is an opportunity here for LGD Gaming to sort of survive out. Actually, Flag Gaming are going to be taking this point in a good amount of time, less than a minute it took to take this point. They've got 5.5 to sort of push through the second objective.
Yeah, and they are sort of building up towards this EMP nice and quickly as well. DMO going to be looking for the setup on that. I mean, like with the new Sombra, right, the power comes a little bit differently than the old Sombra. Like, can you explain a little bit about how that sort of works?
It's, well, at the highest tiers, it's all about information and relaying that to the rest of your team. When you're running Jason on the Genji, that kind of lineup where Genji is very popular in the Chinese region, you're running this dive knowing where the backline heroes are going to be, having an EMP to break down fights like we're seeing now. DMO, right there, perfect example, knows where Rika's going to be, takes him out of the fight fairly quickly.
Yeah, losing that Zenyatta is going to be pivotal early on. They probably don't even need to commit too many resources elsewhere. Looks like they're going in with the Winston, though. He's just going to take down Mika at the very least. So it looks like Gucci managing to keep the team alive slightly, but Flag Gaming still in complete control. Over does commit the Primal Rage, but that's about all they really need here to just keep on rolling forward here and first. Gucci might just be able to squeak out with his life. Oh, the trap just denies him from getting the kill, but no, the follow-up. The other Winston, can Gucci survive? No, he cannot. DMO scooping that kill up there with that extra Sombra vision.
And this payload is still moving fairly uncontested. Res comes out early in this fight, meaning that they won't have it for an engagement that's going to happen within the next half a minute or so. And that's exactly where they need to have this fight, because the payload is getting very close to the point. Ultimate's online. EMP is a big one for DMO. Kenny had a good opportunity to use it.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here is that Infrasight is now active, so it's going to be hard for that Sombra to find the angle. And as you can see, DMO actually gets picked off here. Riptide now coming out from Eileen, manages to find Over at the very least. So it looks like the defense just starting to push their way back out. Gucci gets the kill onto Mika, and it looks like LGD have just about done it, but they had to commit a lot of resources to do so.
Exactly, and that's the area that they're looking strongest in now. They're in a position where the payload has stopped in a nice position for them. They have Valkyrie, they have Self-Destruct, they have a few contingency plans if stuff starts to go wrong. Flag Gaming, though, have almost all of their ultimates. It's only Over on the Winston that doesn't have a Primal Rage. DMO is just sort of waiting with his team for an opportunity, and that's really all I need. Infosight, that information isn't available for LGD Gaming anymore, so it's going to mean that it's going to be a very interesting fight if DMO can get into the backline.
I like this from Yaoshi. You can see he's just spamming away at the possible entry paths for the Sombra. But of course, you got to deal with Jason on this. Genji's been a little bit quiet this game, but no longer is. The Dragon is on leash with that nano boost as well. Diva Bomb, though, on the point and has opened things up. Shy collects himself a double kill on the Widowmaker in the backline. And LGD Gaming, despite being down in resources, have actually sprung this one back. Good job just stunning up that Genji and just finding kills on this Widow.
And that's what Shy was known for, really. Sometimes there have been situations where Shy has been very shy on the Widowmaker, especially when Widowmaker was such a prominent pick in this meta. Now and again, he likes to show up and really likes to take control of the game. Coldest goes down under Zenyatta and manages to get out away from Over. Really shows he knows everything about this hero and knows when to use what. Infosight is ready. And it does look like the Flag Gaming's momentum has very much been quelled here.
Yeah, and it's going to be still even further. DMO not going to be able to find his way in. Shy just continues to collect even more kills as well. Jason, one of the big threats, get taken down. And LGD Gaming, they're not going to sit on their laurels. They're going to go right to the pub and start brawling right in there. EMP does actually come out. DMO commits it, but for naught, he's lost that crucial ultimate. And LGD Gaming continue to surge forward here on King's Road.
He must be changing. That's the only reason why I think DMO would use that ultimate in a fight that was looking to lose it. Actually looks like he's going to still be on it. But it shows this is an example of Shy taking initiative, which is something that you didn't really see from him now and again. Being able to go on a bit of a flank where Flag Gaming don't really know where he is, and having that cerebral play coming out on a Widowmaker to find avenues that you just don't expect a Widowmaker shows a really good sign of like the top players in this region.
And they've actually managed to spot out the pathway that Flag Gaming want to be taking on this next engage. But LGD Gaming have all the cards basically falling into their favor. Gushu on the backline actually is isolated. Coldest picks up another big kill. Coldest been dropping so early in all of these fights so far. And on the front line, it's just going equally as badly. Shy continues to find these kills. He's been popping off so far. Normally when we talk about LGD, we're generally talking all about Eileen. But Shy, he seems to be taking over slightly at the moment.
I'm surprised that Eileen is actually staying on this Junkrat. Having a Riptide fights like this, where Flag Gaming need to pick their opportunities a little bit more, having a Riptide just means that you can either completely shut down a push or at least stall it out for a little bit longer if you can get a pick onto Coldest, for example, on the Zenyatta. But right now, it just seems that both of these DPS are complementing one another. Whilst it's Shy that is, absolutely shining right now, Eileen is enabling him by putting a lot of grenades and a lot of damage into areas, forcing out Flag Gaming into areas of the map that are very open for Shy to kill.
And DMO must be having a bit of a nightmare at this current point. He feels like his stealth's just useless because it feels like Shy has this Infrasight every single time they want to make a push in. Again, he's occupying the flanks. He's playing this aggressive Widowmaker style that we like to see, that we expect out of these high-tier players. Eileen brings out the Riptide. He's going to be looking just for a quick cheeky kill. Manages to find the bag. Gets the Contenders as well. Oh, it's a disaster for Flag Gaming so far. They're just spilling resources all over the place at the moment. And LGD Gaming must be feeling pretty good. The Dragon Blade's even coming out. He's chasing down the Mercy. Does he think he can actually flip this one? No, he crashes right into a grenade from Eileen. Down he goes, and down goes that offensive shot.
The one thing that we failed to mention is Rika's been on this Brigitte for quite some time, has done a really good job of shutting down Jason, switches over to Zarya for the last second. I don't know if Flag Gaming are going to be able to touch the point. It is going to be DMO on the Sombra that's going to have to. Sort of sat there on his own waiting for his team to come in. They do have an EMP coming up fairly shortly. If they can get that without Shy popping off and managing to get a pick onto DMO, it could be the swing in this fight.
Well, let's see how it goes. Drika actually brings out the rally as well, so all that extra armor is going to make it much harder for the Sombra to convert into kills. It really does neutralize their damage, and Drika with a fast kill onto Mika as well is going to remove a lot of the healing on the point at the moment. Hack fails, EMP does come out. DMO's already in trouble, though, has to jump out straight away, so the follow-up for the EMP just isn't there at the moment. Yaoshi spaces people out with a Diva Bomb, and there we go.
an amazingly good hold from LGD there, and it feels like Flag Gaming perhaps their own worst enemies there in terms of ultimate economy.
Potentially, yeah. What surprised me about LGD's lineup is they didn't change an awful lot. They didn't change their DPS lineup, for example. They didn't get off the Junkrat. It was very interesting to see that they were dedicated with what they wanted to run. We did see Rika change it over to the Brigitte, which, you know, shut down Jason on the Genji quite a lot. I guess made DMO a little bit more fearful on the Sombra to get in close. But that was shy completely. Being able to have that space to work with on the second point really showed dividends there for LGD. Now they've set themselves up quite nicely to just finish just before the second checkpoint, which I think is more than passable for LGD, but Flag Gaming must have some tricks up their sleeves.
Yeah, Flag Gaming, they need to bring something special out at the moment. It looks like they're going to bring out an old favorite, an old friend seems to be rejoining us at the moment with this defensive lineup. This is, of course, the modern variant, I would say, of the GOATS comp, dropping the Moira and instead playing that Ana. She's sort of coming back into the meta more and more and more, and the anti-hero grenade's going to be very, very important in terms of delivering on the Valley. Meanwhile, LGD, well, they could be teasing anything. I really do want to see the Wrecking Ball. I love seeing pro-level Wrecking Balls because I need to learn it myself. I don't know about you guys, but I still need to like watch the pros and learn how it works. So it's definitely a good way of doing just that.
I'm really excited to see what Flag Gaming are really going to do here. Whether they're going to just run this composition entirely, what LGD Gaming are going to do to respond to it, to be honest. This lineup that they've like locked in right now is going to be interesting. It is Chinese contenders, which does mean that you do get to see the likes of Bastion making an entrance. No symmetry yet, which is kind of disappointing. I'd like to see a bit more of her. But right now, LGD Gaming don't look to be running your traditional GOATS comp anyway. So let's
Play
see what
symmetry
they do
cowards
instead.
Is the basic assessment so far. Oh, Eileen, I want to see the Doomfist coming out. But it looks like they're actually going to change things up, so they want to scout what the enemy team is doing. Still waiting in spawn. I'm going to take a moment. It looks like Eileen's going to go for that Genji. Of course, he's a devastating threat on that hero. He's a devastating threat on pretty much any hero. Eileen's been one of the shining stars for LGD going forward. Flag Gaming just playing this defensive GOATS comp. They're going to be looking just to run into the enemy team. But LGD Gaming, they're already on the point. They have this very higher agile sort of dive composition at the moment. And just surrounding the enemy team, get the fast pick onto Mika. That's a real nice start so far. DMO does manage to find the Brigitte stun onto Eileen, though. Will be removing him. And now Chai just being a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. They might get the DMO on the Diva, and that will give them a really nice second push going forward here. So they get that. Looks like they might actually go in for the kill here. And it feels like it's starting to sort of run out of steam at the moment for LGD.
A little bit. Like, it was very clinical from LGD to get the picks that they needed, but you're going to need more than that when you're running into triple tanks, triple support. You're going to need those kills quickly. Otherwise, the sustain will keep Flag Gaming alive. They did get a tick, though, so that is something to go into this fight with. And a few ultimates that are on their way. Shy with the Tracer Bomb is looking likely to get a pick next.
Yeah, Gushu goes right into the backline and actually gets enough ultimate charge to Primal Rage already. He's just pushing people off the point at the moment. They've almost got themselves a second, third on that one. Shadow does go onto the point, and there goes the Nano Boost onto the Reinhardt as well, so he's going to be forcing his way forwards at the very least, and it looks like they might actually be pressuring this one out. They might be denying that second, third, crucially, which is going to make it even harder to get that momentum going for Flag Game, for LGD, sorry. So, looking good for Flag Gaming at the moment. They've got the Graviton Surge available to them as well, but can LGD find a way back in here is the big question.
I mean, if they don't, they will go a map a piece into the second one. They are going to change up their lineup a little bit. It does look like they're going to be going that triple tank, triple support composition themselves, but the issue is they're so behind in ultimate advantage that it's going to be tricky to push them through. Transcendence is all they have. Will it be enough for this second engagement?
Meeting of the minds with the two Reinhardts, and there goes the Transcendence as well. Graviton Surge does go in. The damage fall-off is there. You can see Jason on pretty high charge, but Soundbarrier actually going to keep everybody up and running during this fight. So the brawl does continue. Gushu managing to find himself a nice kill there. Does sort of do a bit of damage to the old brickwork here on King's Row as well. But LGD Gaming actually looking good on the point at the moment. Do deny out the Diva Bomb, and it looks like they just need to finish up one or two more kills, but they might have just done it.
They just sort of took the strategy the Flag Gaming were known for in the quarterfinals and ran with it again straight into them. It seems that the best counter to a triple tank, triple support is running your own and trying to play it better. When you have the momentum and aggression on your side, it can be really straightforward too. They have rallied, they have Burst Shatter on this attack, but Flag Gaming are going very aggressive here.
yeah, they really want to hold in this archway, this close range choke. It actually looks like D.Va's going to go into the high ground as well, just spamming down just a little bit as the rally does come out at the moment from LGD. But Obo with a nice big kill onto Drika. That's going to slow things down, certainly. And now Gushu connects with the charge as well. Reinhardt's both collecting themselves a couple of spicy kills at the moment. But meanwhile, LGD Gaming just dominating that kill feed. Obo's doing the best he can to be the sort of the last man standing. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough. No, he connects with the Sari, but doesn't get any damage on there. Unfortunately, the barrier was there for Shy. So LGD Gaming continue the rampage here on King's Row.
They just managed to stall out Flag Gaming a little bit more. Just those late picks. Over needs to be leading the front line and he's the last out of the spawn doors for this push, which means that it's all going in LGD's favor. Saying that though, Flag Gaming did get stuck on this point for the rest of the map. They'd 4.5 minutes on the clock and it ran down to 0. LGD have 3 minutes to push it, a couple of meters. They have some big ultimates too.
Graviton Surge gonna be just committed very, very early here, and the damage fall-off is there just to continue putting these kills in. Over's the only person who's been sort of lighting up this kill feed at all at the moment. The payload's so close to finishing now, 1 meter left on it, and LGD Gaming with a very convincing 2-0 so far in this series.
It looked like it was going to go Flag Gaming's way with the composition that they were running on their first attack, but the fact that Shine managed to completely control Flag Gaming on the Widowmaker, was able to make some interesting moves that really caught Flag Gaming out, stalled that push, and the rest of LGD sort of followed up and made sure that that payload wasn't going any further. From their second engagement, they switched up compositions. I think it's going to be about who's the most flexible with his lineups, but I guess we're going to see what the desk has to say on this. So far, LGD Gaming look complete control.
Thanks so much, you guys. Yeah, definitely. We're seeing a 2-0 LGD Gaming very, very far ahead at this point, I guess I would say. Not much better way to put it at this point, but let's break down this first half. Let's start on Lijiang Tower. Scribe, why weren't Flag Gaming able to keep up on Lijiang Tower? They lost the first map 100-29, second map 100-0. Not exactly their closest performance so far.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to how strong Goats really is and kind of the concept of when you play Goats versus Ghosts, what are the small micro level changes you need to make. I think that last week we definitely saw Over and Jason do a lot more work here, but against such a strong tank line as Yaoxie and Gushu, it's kind of ridiculous. You can't really play super aggressive because you know that they're going to almost overwhelm you. There's almost a committed sense of they're making sure their tanks are staying healthy. They're making sure their tanks are staying activated. I think Gushu is swinging enough where he's able to generate ultimate charge, and he's creating a lot of like a kind of a bubble where teams are scared to kind of go in. I think that's where Flag Gaming is actually struggling right now. We talked about the two stars that we really wanted to watch, Jason and Over. If Over is getting overwhelmed and Jason's stuck on Zarya duty, it's kind of very tough to tip the scales here.
Something that we kind of didn't get to talk about in the pre-show, Scribe, just to follow up with what you were saying, is the importance of this tank matchup between these two as well. And as you said, Goshua is probably one of, if not the best tank in China right now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think that's really important to think about, just because China is like not really I wouldn't say it's a region where we know a lot of strong tanks are. In fact, I think the strongest tanks, unfortunately, are Korean in some sense of that. But yeah, Gushu is just demonstrating why he's on this Chinese World Cup team. He has a lot of great aggression. He's very great at creating room for his team. And we see exactly how well his team can operate when he gets room created. I have never seen Shy play so well. And it's kind of like one of those things where if you give enough of the load off of the DPS and let them just do their own thing, they'll be able to outperform their expectations.
Panda, what is LGD's strategy so far? They seem pretty confident in what they're playing. Definitely very different than what Flag Gaming was seeing with Moss 7 Club, who never seemed to be able to answer what Flag Gaming was bringing. But LGD just looks really confident, really in the zone right now.
They seem to have a deep understanding about how this current patch is working of 1.26 as well, just to further the conversation about these 3-3 mirror matchups that we were witnessing, especially coming out on Night Market. We saw that Flag Gaming ended up coming out with a full GOATS concept. They had the Moira Lucio, where it was a 3-3 tried and true coming out from LGD with the Ana. It then forced Flag Gaming over to the Ana themselves, and I think right then and there, you could see them wanting to extend their knowledge that much on the current patch, but it was really interesting to see how Flag Gaming tried to revert that kind of status and bring out their own Ana as well. That Biotic Grenade is just so good at shutting down as many tanks as Flag Gaming like to bring to the table as well. And you'll see that time and time again. I mean, Biotic Grenade really shuts down Moira as well. Those Coalescence won't come as quickly as you think once you cannot heal any of your tanks. And that's going to be devastating, especially when you already have Gushia that just absolutely winning the 1v1 in the Reinhardt battle as well, both in the mental game and just lapping his adversary in ult charge twice now, in fact, through this matchup.
So we're definitely seeing, I mean, we were down in the other chat watching the first half, and Shy was amazing on Widowmaker. One of the strongest performances on King's Row by Widowmaker we've probably seen in Contenders Season 2. How does Flag Gaming address this Shy and Eileen duo going forward here, Scribe, if they want to turn this around in the second half?
Yeah, the answer is actually not one of their DPS players. I think the answer is actually Coldest here. We have seen the Flag's ability to run triple DPS, and that really is relying on Coldest playing Tracer sometimes. His Tracer is actually incredibly good for being a support main, so I really want to see him put a lot more work. This is kind of an important part, right? Is that we talk about flexibility and how important versatility is to the game of Overwatch. Right now, LGD is basically almost predicting GOATs every time, right? And we did see LGD kind of try doing standard dive into GOATs, and they quickly recognize that it's not nearly as effective. So as long as they keep on respecting them, I think they're going to continue to run GOATs. I think that that's kind of where GOATs v GOATs is not a great matchup for the side of Flag Gaming. But what I would like to say is that I want to see more triple DPS setups from the side of Flag Gaming. If you can throw LGD off, if you can make sure that Shy or Eileen isn't able to stay settled, even setting in Coldest, to do a few drive-bys, right? Pretty safe interactions, maybe potentially force them back onto dive, right? Where you're slightly more comfortable in that matchup. I think there's a lot of great answers for this. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a DPS matchup. I think Coldest really needs to step up. He is doing a lot on Ana, but I think he needs to do a lot more for his team.
So Coldest needs to step up. Panda, who do you think needs to step up on the side of Flag Gaming if we're going to see this go to a game 5, reverse sweep, and make Scribe and I the gods of the oracles of Overwatch?
You're just worried about losing the prediction against me.
Yes.
It's 2v1. Okay, I get it. So let me help you guys out a little bit. Let me help you out. I mean, I agree with Scribe, absolutely, that this will come down to the Zenyatta player. Coldest needs to push his flexibility that much further. Tracer and Sombra work so well together, and it was just that minor bit from DMO's Sombra on King's Road that they were lacking. We actually saw in stealth try to focus down the Mercy before getting to the Widowmaker, and ended up getting absolutely dismantled as well. I mean, that's one of the scarier parts, is that when you try to do these little things by yourself, you're either going to be stun locked or you're going to be bursted down by the defending team on King's Row. It's not exactly an easy place to get to, but infinite stealth can help and I guess aid in a sense, so that way a Tracer player at Coldest's capabilities have shown in previous weeks that he's able to get back there himself and help out, not necessarily one clipping everybody, but to be there for the follow-up. I would further extend to their team play and not just focusing down the Mercy. I mean, sure, with a Mercy and Brigitte composition that LGD was just showing us, Mercy might as well be the solo support, but on the other hand as well, you need to take down the carry from the other team as well. And we have been seeing Shy absolutely pop off. And when you just absolutely disregard that and you try to and you miss your opportunity on pressuring the Widowmaker away from her current positioning, it's going to just leave Shy more than able and ready to absolutely find these headshots on a multitude of targets, including Coldest Zenyatta, not the most mobile target, or not the most mobile hero in Overwatch, but a very easy one to hit when he's just hovering to the point.
So we definitely know that Flag Gaming is weaker on the first half and stronger on the second half. You can go look at their map win rates and you'll see their map type win rates is that the first half, they usually come away with 1, but when they're losing maps, it's usually on the first half. Scribe, are you confident that they can bring it back around in this second half?
It's tough to say,
that's
right?
No, by the way, that's just
it
a
is,
no. But
it is a no, just because I think that the reaction that we saw from going from Lijiang Tower into King's Row is kind of very telling. We saw Flag Gaming tries to very similar play style. They didn't really go out of their comfort zone. This is kind of one of the situations where I would expect to bring out a Tracer, to bring us something different, to throw them a curveball. But once again, we have to understand this is on land, right? The two top players that we've been stressing so often, Over and Jason, neither of them really have any land experience. So having to play with the crowd in your ear, having to remember, like, man, this is like stressful when playing actual in front of people, maybe even be taking out your comfort setup, right? All these things are things that are going to heavily impact very aggressive, kind of like skill-based players who are more well, I guess who strive more when they're playing, when they're comfortable, when they're in their zone. So I think it's very tough, especially when you're down 0-2 in a must-win situation on Assault. It's like one of those things where Assault can go either way, and one bad play means that you could be tilted for your defense as well. So it's one of those things where I want to say Flag Gaming can definitely come back, but being down 2-0 going into a break isn't exactly something that I would like to see them go into.
Fair enough. Well, that's going to do it for our halftime coverage of LGD Gaming versus Flag Gaming. We're going to take a brief break, but before we do, let me tell you about the awesome people at Broadcast.gg, bringing you the English broadcast of Contenders, something that we haven't had for a while. Broadcast.gg is a community that's designed all around creating amazing content for the Overwatch scene. We do a ton of coverage for Open Division, then Contenders Trials. We're now doing Contenders China and South America, the English broadcast. So make sure to head on over to twitch.tv/broadcast.gg. Give them a follow there. Also follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/broadcast.gg. You got to spell that out, DOTGG. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of LGD Gaming versus Flag Gaming.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Contenders China. Welcome back to the English coverage. I, of course, am Josh, one amongst many. I almost call myself one Josh amongst many, which is still technically correct, still technically works. Joined by my friend Ryan Central, bringing you Contenders China semifinals from Guangzhou. I'm going to pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's like something we haven't actually talked about yet, which is big performances here. You know, Guangzhou is the new signing for Overwatch League. That's the new team coming up. So big performances for these players. Probably going to actually be quite meaningful, I imagine.
They're going to be looking at Chinese players for sure, regardless. There is always the option for any new team that's going to be coming into the Overwatch League. There's going to be 6 in total to bring like a full Korean roster, for example. Lucky Future Zenith, which is in the other semi-final, is one of those. So I think whoever's going to be in the finals could be cherry-picked, either players or the full lineup, to be part of that new expansion team or the Shanghai Dragons, with both of them wanting to expand their lineup. But we are going to be going to Volskaya Industries on the Assault map. I believe it is going to be a match point for LGD Gaming for them to go into the finals. So this is a big game for them themselves. It's a map that they have a good amount of effect on. Flag Gaming also have the same. It's one of their best maps out of the choice with Rialto. So it's going to be an interesting match, this one. A bit more strategy, hopefully some more diverse compositions coming out. So I'm very excited to see what both of these teams do in this situation.
Yeah, I really want to see something else come out, but I suspect I'm sensing a pattern out of Flag Gaming so far, which is, you know, let's just run the 3-3 comp and try and run people over with that. LGD Gaming, like the Des mentioned, seem to be on top of it, though. They seem to have worked it out. They've sort of scouted out that, hey, Flag Gaming, they're probably going to run the GOATS comp, so we're kind of ready for it. We're prepared for it. Yeah, LGD Gaming closer and closer to that huge trophy. I don't know if you guys got to see it during the sort of the pre-show, but the trophy is literally like the size of me. It's massive. I don't know what it is with Overwatch, but for some reason I like these big metal trophies that are going to be impossible to lift. I'm pretty sure I would never be able to lift that thing, but LGD looking to secure it for themselves. It looks like we are in the map at the moment, so Flag Gaming going to be first on offense, and, well, they're teasing things, but I suspect that we are going to see the 3-3.
Potentially, LGD Gaming are not running anything like that. They're going to be running Eileen on the Sombra to try and tear that apart as it's going in. Shy has the high ground advantage with Hanzo, some more information with the Sonar Arrow. Their lineup is fairly straightforward. They want to give Flag Gaming a little bit of space if they're going to be running this tank triple support lineup, which they are. So they're going to be trying to engage on them, try and pick them apart like a Sombra would do. But ultimately, as you sort of see in the bottom right, as we get a bit of an oversight, overhead, they're going to be keeping an eye on them, making sure they have to keep turning their backs, but ultimately engaging on them, but not as full team.
Yeah, they're just going to pressure them out at the moment. You can see that Gushu's already got 70% of his ultimate charge just from that one corner alone, so they are not relenting on the pressure. Shy's actually doing a good job as well, building up. They've got so much scouting information with that Sonic Arrow, with that Sombra. Looks like they actually want to pressure Shy out there, and they managed to turn around and catch him, so big on the kill. That's a lot of damage being removed, and now Flag Gaming, where they put their foot to the floor, they really want to get aggressive. Gushu's forced to activate that Primal Race to try and spring something back at the very least, but he can't find the knockoff just yet. He's bouncing around a little bit, causing some havoc, but not really finding too much effect. Coldest already has cycled out his ultimate at the very least. Yaoshi with a big kill though does get rid of Coldest, so that's a lot of healing now being removed on the point, but Jason on so much charge. This really is the main source of damage coming out of this team. When you're running that Goats Cup, you really do need that power. Over does connect with the charge as well, and slowly but surely it does feel like Flag Gaming starting to eke this one out though. There is still opportunities for LGD Gaming to come back in. The Hanzo's rejoined them, the DPS coming back, and they've actually managed to do it here.
It was actually terrific how they managed to do that. It's not easy against a composition like Flag Gaming to run in where all of these heroes have a basically mitigation against being dove on, but also have the sustainability to keep themselves alive. So LGD Gaming managed to stall out the point with losses. They used EMP2, so Eileen is going to be in the back trying to get more ult charge. The Dragon Strike is ready from Shy. It's a good opportunity seeing as everybody's in a room, so that's exactly what he's going to do.
Oh, this could be devastating. Everyone's trapped in their garage. There's nowhere for them to go, but the damage is the counter comes through. The Graviton Surge catches everybody. People surviving this crucial ultimate as well. DMO throwing out the crucial rally as well, just going to keep his team alive during all of that Hanzo damage. So the follow-up just not going to quite be enough here. And Flag Gaming, we've just had like 2 back-to-back comebacks from the fights. It looked good for LTD Gaming there, but it just all fell apart at the last possible second.
That Dragon Strike was amazing, considering the fact that he got absolutely nobody in a small room. It was like the magician's sword tricks were stabbing into a box where somebody's in, not managing to hit them. It was really evasive technique from Flag Gaming. They do take the first point with just less than 6 minutes on this point. So Shy is going to be trying to build up another Dragon Strike, hopefully have a bit more effect. But so far, LGD Gaming are doing their best to shut this, but momentum is not in their favor.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky now. Volskaya's second point has a lot of high ground to deal with, so when you're running this triple tank, triple support comp, it's so difficult to sort of get to the enemy team when they're all stood on this high ground, when they're all just poking down at you. And you can see that Shy has done exactly that, 95%. Eileen on the Doomfist as well. I like seeing this pick come out, the Doomfist. So good now with the buffs he received recently. There goes the Dragon Strike. Transcendence also being used just to pressure people out. You can see Eileen just pressuring out the Reinhardt as well, pushing people back, but not really converting too much into kills so far. He's almost got the ultimate. There he goes. Meteor Strike jumps up in the air. Can he find anything to land on and take out and remove though? No one dying in this fight so far. It's just been a slow burner. DMO does get the kill onto Eileen, so managed to catch him out there. Gushu could just imprison everyone in that small room, but opts not to. Just bounces away at the moment, and slowly but surely the engine seems to be just gearing up for Flag Game. They're crawling the way forward onto the points, but can they get themselves a third? Reinforcement's going to come out from LGD Gaming so quickly now. They've got a lot of people with fast rollouts here. Shy has another Dragon Strike going across the point. Graviton Surge does come out as well from Jason, but the DPS follow-up is long gone. Everyone's down, and it looks like LGD Gaming will continue their hold.
They used a lot though, and it seems to be equal trading. There isn't enough people in Flag Gaming to stall out the point for LGD, so they will take it. Yaoshi went over to Reinhardt to have a bit more sort of forward momentum on the point, being much more difficult to move. Now switches back over to the D.Va. Flag Gaming used a lot, and that fight went on for well over a minute, so you'd assume that Flag Gaming, with the competition that they're running, would be able to win it out with the sustain and just the fact that they're very difficult to move off a point, but really well played from LGD Gaming to quell that push as it was coming in.
And they're going for it once more, just going straight to the point again. But a huge kill actually going on to Mika. That's a lot of AoE healing just going to be removed straight away. Eileen, though, does get burned down that again. A lot of damage just get nullified there. But you can see Shy just continuing to rain these arrows from above. They don't really have a good answer for this. There's nothing that can get onto that high ground super easily except for the D.Va. And honestly, Hanzo's evasive enough just to keep away from that. Support ults do come out from Flag Gaming. We'll keep this fight going. We'll keep this fight alive. But with Gushu stalling, the question is, can they get the kills before the respawns start kicking in? And it looks like the answer is going to be no.
They're going to be able to clear out everything that's coming through over its last to die in this lineup, and it's just feeding LGD Gaming a lot of ult charge, so they have some contingencies with this next push, as we're now getting just above 3 minutes, so half the time allocated basically the Flag Gaming had for this second point they've used up. Now LGD Gaming are now starting to build up ultimates. Flag Gaming do have a few themselves, but Graviton's going to be the big one that they need to use and make effect out of, and that's difficult when you have a dive comp that's all over the second point with LGD Gaming.
Especially with the changes to Graviton Surge recently, that radius on it has been reduced. Unfortunately, at the moment, my feed has frozen, so I can't actually see what's going on. Ryan, please tell me what's happening.
Pushing in. Flag Gaming are going around on this left-hand side. It's very difficult to actually get movement with this kind of composition because you're very easy to spot out. You're very easy to work out where they're going. Earthshatter does actually come through of Flag Gaming, but doesn't get much as Yao Shi's the one in the kill feed clearing stuff up. But it's Eileen on the Doomfist, actually, that's able to clear up the rest of Flag Gaming. Amazing play from Eileen. This is something that you're very much used to. He's one of the more typical Doomfist players that you know is just going to get effective use out of him every single time. Has some amazing levels of tech that you can bring through that not many people know even about, never mind how to replicate. So Flag Gaming's momentum has been stalled yet again by LGD Gaming on the second point of this map. Can they hold it for the rest of the map, though?
It is a permanent question. Unfortunately, I'm still wrestling with the feed. So, Ryan, you're on your own on this one. I'm sorry to say. I hate to say.
Big Graviton as the Diva Bomb comes in. Actually gets a pick onto Eileen. A Dragon Strike does come out from LGD to zone out Flag Gaming as they wanted to push in. It does allow Only Wish to get the Resurrect onto Eileen, bringing him into the fight, and that's necessary. Coalescence from Moira. She gets shielded, managed to be saved out from Gushu. So we're now looking at Eileen. Very quick, frantic fights from both these lineups. It's amazing how LGD Gaming are running a very different composition and still managing to go toe-to-toe and win against fights against a team that's all about brute force, sustainability, and actual power on the point. But considering they're not even managing to touch it at this rate, shows how LGD Gaming have very much got Flag Gaming's number.
Okay, I'm back. Well done to Ryan as well. Thank you so much for that minor tech issue. But we have fixed it, so I'm now back in game. I'm probably a little bit out of sync, but we'll soldier on regardless. Change-ups coming out of Flag Gaming. Jason now on that McCree, looking for a little bit more of a sort of standard DPS win condition, perhaps trying to control Eileen that little bit more. But as the engage does come in, Eileen is there to meet them, just to bounce them out a little bit. Actually extremely low. Has to be very careful here that he doesn't get picked off. So will just pull himself away, will bide his time. Will look for probably a quite deep dive with that Doomfist. Actually very difficult for the McCree to avoid it. There goes the Dragon Strike across the point as well. Jason just gets pushed out completely, nullified and destroyed there by Gushu, and Shy collecting a couple of kills there with his ultimate as well. Should have been the end to this fight.
And I think this is why I'd say that Gushui is one of those, like, one of the best Korean tanks, because he plays in such a Western style. Very much would suit some of the Overwatch League teams that we know already. Knowing that a Dragon Strike was going to come through there from Shy, didn't actually get any picks, but it completely zoned out heroes like Coldest on the Zenyatta, and it just enabled Gushui to actually find picks and take them apart bit by bit. Completely split up Flag Gaming, which is the composition, even though they're not running this triple support, triple tank anymore, is still very prominent to them, and they really have an Achilles heel with it. Overwatch Chapter's point can't even make it.
Yeah, just gets taken down on his way in, and that's going to just signal LGD Game to just go all aggressive now. They don't even want to let the enemy team touch the point. They're just busy cancelling everyone out, lighting up the kill feed themselves, and there we go. And nice finish there.
Comprehensive, I'd say, from LGD there on the second point. The first point looked a little bit more scrappy. Eventually, I think it was just down to spawns and the fact that you need to almost plan for the second point a little bit. If you lose first as a defending team, you don't really want to dedicate too much to holding first if you feel that you're still going to lose it, because you can then immediately lose second, right? So it's well played from LGD to kind of give up some of their resources for the first point, and then ever since they hit onto second, they've looked much more stronger. Shy, again, prominent on the other sniper that we've seen, showing that he can clear up a point fairly easily with very hard to clear heroes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the question that you sort of pose with this Hanzo pick. You can also pose it with a Farah pick, which is when you are running that 3-3 comp, how do you get to that high ground? How do you isolate and get rid of that threat? Because the only person with that mobility is sort of the Diva. You can try and send the Lucio if you're feeling really brave, but it's going to be sort of a tough one to do. So change-ups coming out of Flag Gaming, perhaps feeling a touch late, considering they couldn't really deal with this sort of high mobility, high ground comp that they were running into time and time again. That said, it looks like LGD Gaming, well, they're teasing something quite novel on the attack, so we'll ignore that one for now. But Flag Gaming, well, they'll be sticking with the tried and true, bringing the Ana back, though. Coldest rolling that one out. The desk highlighted Coldest, someone that needs to step up. Ryan, how did you feel about Coldest's performances during that last map?
Against this last map, it's when you run in a composition like triple tanks, triple supports, you don't really get the chance to look at independent play. Something like DMO I highlighted in the quarterfinals with Moss 7. Usually you don't look at a Brigitte and go, oh, they played really well, right? Because they're a cog in a wheel of something like a Goats comp. So whilst Coldest was part of the machine, I suppose. Really, we'd seen and expected some major plays. We had that against Moss 7. So far, he's been quite quiet, but I think Gushue on the Winston has made the life of a Zenyatta, as an Ana, as whatever Coldest was running, a living hell. Eileen is going to be on the Sombra to scout out information on this attack. May actually go back to switch. It does look like they're sort of spotted out what Flag Gaming are running. They're just going to brute force it in a very similar style.
I mean, this has been working for LGD Gaming. Every single time the enemy teams run goats, LGD's just said, well, we'll run it too, and we'll run it better. Let's see if they can actually put the money where their mouth is, though. They're just going to roll out and just roll probably straight to the point here. Wouldn't be too surprised to see them go to take the direct route. Overconnects with a charge. Gushu goes on a bit of a field trip as well. He's just off on his holidays in beautiful, beautiful Russia in the winter. But actually, even without him, without his main tank, they're still getting the kills here. Oh my lord, LGD Gaming is just coming up big. Shy again paying dividends as he just finds the damage, finds the kills in this area, and they're just going to probably roll it straight to the point here with a very fast take on first.
It was very smart to look at what Flag Gaming were running and just run it better, essentially. It was something that they did struggle a lot in their quarterfinal run. They did go like a map down in sort of their compositions, what they were trying to do. Now it does look like they're just going to run whatever Flag Gaming are running and do it better, as you said. Now they have a good solid 7 minutes on this clock to just get a third. Ultimate's still coming online.
Yeah, and this is crucial, right? This is LGD going to the finals if they can get this one done. 7 minutes on the clock, 1/3 to get, and they're running a mirror comp with an ultimate advantage. This is a big fight for LGD Gaming. If they can get this one right, then they could absolutely just smash it here with a very, very quick series by the looks of things. Diva Bomb on the point, does manage to actually get rid of Lai, so Lai's not going to be a factor in this one. Overconnecting with another ball charge. He's been a real big fan of those. The Coalescence is just there to keep Gushu alive during all of this. The damage follow-up isn't quite coming through. Shy gets rid of Jason as well. Shy should be building towards that capital surge. Yes, 75% so far. He's getting close. Beautiful Ash Shatter comes out of Over, but the follow-up just can't get there. Nano Boost even getting committed, I believe, onto Over there as well. Kills actually coming through from Flag Gaming. They managed to get out of spawn. They've managed to avert some of the crisis at the very least, it feels. But no, LGD Gaming still finding the kills. Can they flip this one back? Surely not.
Like
Flag Gaming are back.
It must be.
Yeah. Oh,
Shy just jumped off the mat to start again because they do have Graviton. They didn't want to waste any more time to give Flag Gaming any more ult charge. Mika's very close to having a sound barrier. They don't have Transcendence on this push. So they must be expecting that Shy is very, very close to having a big ultimate that can easily win him this map. It's a game of small intervals now with how Assault works. There's still 6 minutes on the clock. Shy and the rest of LGD Gaming just said, we have time. We don't need to keep this fight going any longer than we have to.
Yeah, this is where the LAN, sort of any LAN experience, any sort of tournament experience really starts paying off, because this is when the nerfs start creeping in. LGD know that they have such a strong victory condition here. A huge grab comes out of Jason. They managed to get a lot in there, but overcommits the Earth Shatter to it as well. Sound Barrier being used. LGD Gaming do actually use some counter ultimates. They've used Sound Barrier of their own, they've used Grab of their own, and they've used the Brigitte ultimate, so they don't have those resources themselves. So Flag Gaming commit a lot, but LGD doing the same.
Both used Sound Barrier, both used Grab. I'm really surprised that LGD and Shy especially decided to use that ultimate in that situation. Again, they still do have time. It will be a draw that they'll be playing for at least. So Flag Gaming can't win out this map technically. So Rika and the rest of LGD Gaming are going to be sitting forward. Rally does get used on the side of Flag Gaming as a plan just in case they need it. But now LGD Gaming just fight for the point.
Yep, early charge comes out of Over. The Nano Boost going onto the Reinhardt as well. Over looking to get the damage out there. They've got to keep an eye on the point, though. They can't afford to leave it. And good control so far, actually coming out of LGD Gaming. Managed to keep the restraint on Over. Just keep him pinned back, keep him so he can't get that damage coming out of the Nano Boost. Looks like he's just been bottled in the corner. Jason going down early as well. Meanwhile, Shy still being effective in this fight. Huge Earth Shatter does come out as well. Managed to trap most of the enemy team, but again, the follow-up still a little bit slow. Over does get charged into the back corner, does get taken down. Shy building up very, very quickly to another Graviton surge at the moment, 90%. Diva Bomb will buy a couple of moments on the point. Not too many people left from LGD. They might want to let this one go and just bounce in for the next fight. Looks like they're still committing a little bit, but it's starting to peter out as Flag Gaming continue to hold.
More time has been used, less than 4 minutes on the clock. 3 have been used on the second point. So now Rally does get used from Flag Gaming again. They have that ultimate ready before this fight has even started. Shy has another Graviton and a few more ultimates on the LGD side coming online. Rika's going to switch over to the Ana. Will no doubt get a Nano Boost fairly quickly. So LGD Gaming are just waiting until they have all their ultimates and the kitchen sink to throw at Flag Gaming, because surely they can't hold from that.
here we go, ladies and gents. LGD starting to roll themselves forward. Flag Gaming spamming back. Jason, probably the person we'll keep an eye on. 96% at the moment. The grab has gone in. It's found the targets. Can it find the kills? Earthshatter comes through as well. There's the Diva Bomb. 3 people are down at the moment. Nanoboo's hasting on the Zarya. The counter grab is there, but the damage certainly isn't, especially with that sound barrier in the way. Looks like Jason's been pushed back onto the back foot. Does get taken down, and now it's just a matter of can anyone from Flag Gaming get out? Can they take the point back, or will LGD secure the place in the final? Nika, is trying his hard out. It looks like the Brigitte managed to make it the point, but no, there we go. LGD Gaming will be your first finalist in Chinese Contenders.
They were certainly favourites from this game, from this semi-final. You would have expected Flag Gaming to show up a little bit more. They were a team that was really fun in the sides of a lot of different lineups in the Chinese Contenders region. Unfortunately, they fell fairly short against LGD's experience at LAN. I think it really came down to, and the fact that all throughout this evening for China, LGD had Flag Gaming's number. They knew the composition. They could beat it. They could play it themselves. They knew how to work around it. And from there, it really looked like it was the end for Flag Gaming. And that'll be the end of their season for Season 2.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Flag Gaming, the kiss of death was put on them the moment that Scribe said that he could probably, he put his favor down at them taking it 3-2. Well, it's a fast 3-0 for LGD, and it's a sad thing for myself and for Ryan as well. It feels like we've just been with you so briefly, but thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to let the desk take it from here, and please, Kick Tripod, well, let us know how terrible you are at making predictions.
I was jinxed, man. That's the thing, is I was jinxed at the end of it. I had a pick. I made it long before, and then Scribe comes in. He's like, yeah, that. And I was like, well, you know, from there, I was done. So thanks a lot, Scribe. We're way too harsh on you, Scribe. I'm sorry.
Nah,
He just feels so bad over here.
It's my thing, dude. I'm never right. But at the same time, I'm always right because I'm never right.
I need you to not pick LFZ for next match then.
I think you know who I'm going to pick.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this quick 3-0 match. As Josh said earlier, that does mean that LGD Gaming is the first team in the Overwatch Contenders Season 2 Grand Finals, and the winner of LFZ and T1W Esports will be the other team accompanying them. But today, Flag Gaming fell short, 3-0. Panda, why wasn't Flag Gaming able to pull out the win here today?
Flag Gaming just stuck around on their composition for just a little while too long there on their attack. They had multiple opportunities to take swaps to deal with Eileen's Doomfist accordingly, where you would think that the Brigitte might have been the pick. I definitely enjoyed seeing the McCree swap coming out. I mean, I was sitting there talking to you guys about it too. I love the theorizing about why McCree with that damage buff or the damage fall off buff is so strong right now, can take it to Hanzo while keeping his backline safe all at the same time. Was just a little bit of that desynchronization that we've been talking about throughout their series, unfortunately. But I think that they had a strong ground and foundation to take that map. They just came up a little bit short on the composition side of life.
So on the LGD side then, Scribe, I mean, this is a team that I can't remember the last time we saw them look kind of this fluid and confident. What do you think attributed most to their victory today?
I think it's really the matchup against Flag Gaming. I think one of the big reasons why they look so good is because when you have one of the top tank duos in China and you're playing against someone as aggressive as Over and as mechanically skilled as Lai, I think you're able to take advantage of a lot of these things. I mean, looking at the confidence that the side of LGD was having in terms of running dive compositions with Doomfist, Hanzo, it's very obvious that they understand they can maintain the spacing away from Goats in order to not get overwhelmed. Even Eileen's pick of Junkrat on King's Row even illustrates this even more, right? They're very familiar with playing a very defensive style game. They're really willing to let overextend. And I think the core of this was they understood that Flag was willing to put a lot of resources into the Reinhardt. We saw a lot of this ultimate cycling where you get Reinhardt to just basically swing, you give him a lot of main healing, you give them nano boost just to match up and catch up in ultimate percentage and stuff like that. And I think they were able to take advantage of the fact that Coldest was so focusing on making sure his Reinhardt was able to execute that they were just simply able to juggle Reinhardt away. They were able to dive the backlines, and because of this, Over never got the room to really start start turning up. We saw him show up very late in the round, but LGD, when you have that much pressure available, and on top of that, having two amazing players in Eileen and Shy, it's like it's almost unfair in some ways. So I really think that LGD there, just a better matchup for tank wise, but it really does demonstrate exactly how far ahead they are.
So walking away from this match here, we got to choose an MVP from I guess from either team here. But Panda, who's your MVP walking away from this one?
Oh, it's easily going to be Gushu. I mean, like that man was absolutely. He was very methodical with his defensive Winston play, especially on their Volskaya Industries, to let alone play core dive with the Winston Diva into a GOATS comp that Flag Gaming was throwing at them, finding those picks, finding those members of Flag Gaming that were just a little bit too far out of position was just such a spectacle to see. I mean, he was almost using Primal Rage as if it was a secondary cooldown for Winston himself. And I got to say, when you let a Winston go on check like that, the main tank for Overwatch World Cup China, y'all better watch out.
Fair enough. What about you, Scribe? Who are you walking away with as your MVP pick for this match?
I want to say Gusher, but I have to pick someone different because
No, you don't
have to. You don't have to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, I got to agree with Panda here. I mean, Gusher just kind of was head and shoulders above everyone else. We were initially at the start of this game, we were thinking it's going to be more about the Eileen Shy show, right? We're going to see a lot more DPS presence here. But when you have tank lines as strong and you understand you're playing into GOAT's composition, it really does depend on your main tank player to both be kind of the spear and the crest of the shield, right? He needs to be the one who is able to turn the momentum and charge in, gain a valuable ground. He also needs a person who has to play defensive and understand he needs to kite away when he needs to. Gusher is one of the best of both worlds in terms of understanding when he should go in. His Primal Rage management was ridiculous. I've never seen someone just get so much value off of it, especially against a beefy tank line when you're running 3-3. So yeah, he gets all the props here, and I think he's one of the big reasons why LGD looks so confident today.
Yeah, definitely. I think walking away from me, I've got to just give a nod to Shy here. Shy had an incredible series. It's really tough to run any composition when you lose one of your squishy DPS or supports right away and you can't just get anything going. I think King's Row was a great example of that. So definitely an amazing match for LGD Gaming. Great warm-up match for the grand finals. They're going to need it because coming up next, they're going to have to face either T1W Esports or LFZ, which is not going to be an easy task, either of those teams. But as we walk away, we must say goodbye to Flag Gaming. What are your closing thoughts, Scribe, on Flag Gaming's Contenders appearance here in Contenders China Season 2?
I think they demonstrated a lot of great stuff here. I think one of the things that will carry over, and I wonder if teams like LGD will be thinking about this a little more, but their understanding of Rhine cycling and their valuation of using Nano Boost as a way to kind of gain Earth Shatters and put additional pressure on enemy tank lines. I think that's something that's really important. I wonder if LGD is going to utilize that, and now knowing that they have Gusher potentially playing into Marvel at all. So I think they have a lot of great takeaways. I think Flag Gaming, for having two brand new core members who don't really have that much land experience, I think this is big for them, and I hope to see them back in here next season.
What about you, Panda? Closing thoughts on Flag Gaming's Season 2 of Contenders China?
I agree with Scribe as well on that fact. I mean, like, to have these members come into LAN for the first time and show up the way that they did. I mean, Jason looked fantastic coming out of those final weeks of the season of group stage and then through playoffs as well. We mentioned earlier that they took that match away from Moss 7 Club, which is big enough within its own right as well. And making it this far to LAN is a big thing that you can go home and say for all your friends and family as well. Over coming in a little bit late as well. I can't wait to see where the core group of Flag Gaming, and I hope that they stick together going forward as well, because they definitely show a lot of good basis and they definitely have a good understanding of the current patch, and their GOATS comp is just downright scary as well. So if that going forward says anything, it's only on the up and up for them.
Fair enough. Well, that's going to do it for our coverage of match number 1. We're going to go into our next match, which is going to be Lucky Future Zenith versus T1W Esports. And this is going to be an exciting one. This is, in many minds, probably one of the most competitive matches we're going to get to see from two of the best teams here. Could have easily been the grand finals of Contenders Season 2 if the groups were set up a little bit different. We're really excited about this one. But chat, we need to have a quick one-on-one here. We're about to go into a break. And I know what you guys like to do. We go into a break, and then all of a sudden, every minute, people are like, when's the next game going to be? So there's going to be a little bit of a break. We're waiting on the live feed before we can go into the next game. I don't know the exact time, but if anyone asks, just give them a failfish or something. It's just, hey, we're working through it together. We're going to watch some great Contender Season 2 highlights until we get there. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. It's late or early, probably, wherever you are. So thank you for being here with us for that. This entire broadcast, this entire season of English broadcasts for Contenders China and South America are brought to you by Broadcast.gg. Broadcast.gg is a community of broadcasters who just love Overwatch so much that they volunteer all their time. Too much time. I mean, Panda doesn't, I don't think, sleep. So there's just, yeah, right. So just an amazing people who are really passionate about Overwatch and competitive Overwatch and wanted to bring this broadcast for you guys so that you have an English broadcast with analysis and amazing casters and Ryan Central and one amongst many and our other amazing casters. So big thank you to Broadcast.gg and everyone involved for letting us do this for you. Make sure to go to twitch.tv/broadcast.gg. Give them a follow there so that you can see all of our open division coverage that just started up. This starts later today. I believe we've got some more open division games. And of course, follow us on Twitch at twitter.com/broadcast.gg. You got to spell that out. DOTGG. Otherwise, it'll take you somewhere else. Follow there as well so you can see whenever we're broadcasting, whatever we've got going on, all of our original content. Make sure to check that out. We're going to take a brief break and we'll be back with Lucky Future Zenith versus T1W Esports Club right after this.